Just 20 years ago, it was pretty common to see black and yellow bumblebees pollinating flowers all around. Now, though, for the first time ever, the bumblebee will be placed on the endangered species list. Beekeepers have been complaining for years about the mass die-off of the bees. So why is it happening? To talk more about it, we're joined now by Mark Fogel, a beekeeper and the director of research at Greenpeace. Thanks for being here, Mr. Fogel. Can you start by explaining why the bumblebee is so important and how significant it is in terms of human survival?
Well, bumblebees, like all bees, are pollinators. And so we need bees and other pollinators like butterflies and birds to get germplasm, really allow plants to have sex with each other. So male and female plants can cross-pollinate, and therefore we get fruit. About a third of the fruits that we eat in the U.S. are pollinated by honeybees, the bees that are taken around by beekeepers who do that. But there are many other pollinators as well, including bumblebees.
I think you just made bumblebees a whole lot more interesting for viewers there, saying that they allow flowers to have sex with each other. But now that the bumblebee is considered endangered, what are the main environmental stressors responsible for endangering it, at least that we know?
Yeah, one thing I should make distinction between bumblebees and honeybees. Honeybees are the bees that we have that give us honey, like the bees that I keep myself, and bees that some beekeepers bring around the country to pollinate crops like oranges, almonds, blueberries. Bumblebees are wild. There are actually 20,000 species of bees, but they're all endangered by very similar things. One is climate change. We're moving bees out of their range. We're making their seasons very irregular. Where I live here in Vermont, the fact that our winters are now kind of warm and then cold and then warm and then cold have killed a lot of bees. There are introduced species like mites that have come into this country the way other invasive species have come into this country, and they're attacking our bees. The heavy use of pesticides like neonicotinoid pesticides, which is one of the most commonly used pesticides in the U.S., it is an insecticide, so it does kill insects. Bees are insects. And it's a particularly pernicious insecticide, which we're trying to get the EPA to ban for the health of bees and therefore for the health of our crops.
Is this die-off irreversible? I mean, what other actions can be taken to save the bees, let alone reverse the process that we've seen?
Well, what we need to do is we need to increase food for bees. We need to increase good, healthy food for bees. In fact, the bees that live in my neighborhood, that live in my backyard, all my neighbors contribute to helping out by planting bee-friendly plants in their yards so that my bees have plenty of good, healthy food because they don't use pesticides. And I pay them back by giving them honey. But what we can do is we can support organic agriculture. We can petition the EPA to ban the use of neonicotinoid pesticides in the U.S. There's already a moratorium underway in the European Union. We'd like to see that here. Those would be some of the most important things. But again, fighting global warming in all its faces is something that's going to help all species across the country.
As you already alluded to, you are a beekeeper. Share with the viewers a fact, something you really appreciate about bees that they might not know.
Oh, my goodness.
Or just any special piece of information.
Well, honey is an amazing food. It's the only food that we don't digest. We absorb it right into our system. And honey never goes bad. We've pulled honey from Egyptian tombs. It's 2,500 years old, and we can still eat it. It's really a perfect food, and we mess with it at our peril. So I think anything we do to the bees, we ultimately do to ourselves.
And it's, of course, delicious as well. So thank you so much, Mark Fogel, beekeeper and research director at Greenpeace, for explaining some of this for us today.
Thanks for having me.